This podcast is a production of Unfiltered Studios. If you would like to know more about joining Unfiltered Studios, please visit our website at unfpod.com for more information.
I'm going to say the most controversial thing right here, right now.
Oh, no.
I've probably said in a while.
Oh, dear.
Back to the Future Part 3.
Okay.
I liked that, man.
I like that too. No,
Back to the Future Part 3 is my favorite in the series. I love it. It's a great movie.
All right.
We're not going to go on a rant here because if you want, I don't have an issue with Back to the Future 3. It's a couple parts, and I'm not going to get into it now.
Totally.
Just put some zombies in it real quick. Like, what if Biff got the plague back in the Wild West and
really we'll turn it into Red Dead Redemption.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was saying.
The zombie DLC.
You know, I was watching Back to the Future and thinking about Doc Brown in Back to the Future. And then I started thinking about his character in Taxi, and I think that's what they married to Rick and Morty.
Yeah.
A combination of those two, Rick and Morty.
They were on the record saying they were pretty inspired by it. And it is wild how Back to the Future is like one of the few rare blockbusters where people will teach it in a film school class. It's like, because it kind of covers all the different bases. And I can totally understand why, again, Zemeckis he apes that style, after that movie. That movie becomes kind of the basis of his existence in Hollywood.
Avengers Endgame, not only does it quote Back to the Future, pretty much a lot of it is the same plot. They go back and try to restructure, and you could see them seeing themselves in the.
Yeah.
Well, they wrote this story too for Back to the Future, trying to sell it for quite a while, but not until they weren't able to sell it until they had some success with other stuff.
I listened to that What Went Wrong podcast episode, and they had just so many good takes on it, on why it was a hit, but it it didn't happen that way overnight. And it was so wild how Eric Stoltz is a fine actor, but he just wasn't working with the material, and the producer almost reneged on that, because he said to Zemeckis, okay, just give it a few weeks, and if it doesn't work, come to me, we'll figure this out. And then, Zemeckis does just that. And he's like, hey, wait, we got a problem.
Well, it's supposed to be a movie for kids, and it was a successful movie, but you think about it, it starts out with Doc Brown stealing plutonium from terrorists and getting killed.
That's what is such a nutty thing. And growing up, I was like, wait, who's trying to kill him? Those aren't gangsters. Those aren't thieves. Or terrorists.
Libyan terrorists. And another thing is he sends his dog off on in the time travel car by himself.
Yes.
Right.
As a guinea pig, as a guinea pig. And does incest run in the McFly family or something?
Yeah, much like Star Wars, man. It must be a thing. Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, not only do you have Marty McFly's mom hitting on him in one scene, in the Western one, you go back and you see the McFly family and his great-great-grandmother or something, or great-great-great whatever grandmother, looks exactly like Leah Thompson, but she's part of a different family line. So it's like, did they have incest just running throughout that family for centuries?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
no one ever brings up that topic with the Patty Duke show. Identical cousins? How is that supposed to work?
Yeah, it's not supposed to. Yeah, that's for sure.
Anyway,
but yeah, no, that's a good point. It is kind of wild how it mildly hinted at uncomfortable stuff, and no one blinked an eye. So it's like, it is kind of just one of those things. As long as you don't just jump into it right away, no one bats an eye. They're like, it's fine. They'll figure it out when they grow up.
And then they bring
it. Kind of works because she doesn't realize that's her kid.
She does say later, like it's like kissing my brother when she does kiss him.
Don't you love how in various sci-fi shows, especially the Stargate and Star Trek shows, they will often acknowledge the same science to say, activate the flux capacitor.
Well, there's also a very uncomfortable scene in I Want to Hold Your Hand where one of the characters wants to prostitute herself to get money to it's the same kind of thing. They kind of they make you think something's going on, and then you find out I don't want to give the whole plot away, but
I know what you mean. It is kind of one of those. I'm like, geez,
it was a little. I don't think that would fly today,
And they treated Marty's girlfriend like shit.
They really did.
They drag her to the future, then they dump her there.
Right, and they even have a different actress playing her.
Yeah,
Elizabeth Shue in the second one, wasn't it?
It goes so fast that you don't really realize it. I think that's the other thing too. It's kind of like Saturday Night Fever, despite some dark stuff. People are just enjoying
she's a minor
the music.
character. Yeah,
I think it's just that they wrote her in as leaving with them into the future, so they didn't know they were going to have a second movie. They got a second movie, and they thought, well, we don't want to do anything with her, so let's write her out.
Let's write her out.
Yeah.
Did you guys ever see the South Park episode Goobacks?
Oh yes.
It just makes fun of every time travel. I'll quote it here. I love it. It's like they pretty much are explaining how time travel movies create different rules, and it's like the time travel method declared is to follow the Terminator rule, where it's one way only and you can't go back. And the contrast is the Back to the Future rules, where you back and forth as possible. And then there's the Time Rider rules, where it's just plain silly. Here's a Seinfeld reference for you. Do you ever notice how Jerry often has a VHS copy of Part 3 on his apartment shelf?
Can't say that I noticed that.
Yeah, he had like so many movies. You're like, I can tell what Jerry's into. And why did it have to be the third one?
It has Christopher Lloyd in it.
I know.
He's in all of them. I think the third one's underrated. I like the third one. Kurt basically goes psychotic.
Is that the same one that has John Larroquette?
Fun to watch.
I think so. Yeah, and so how would you rank them? Because like I think the first one's the best, but I did watch the third one quite a lot. But yeah, part 2 was on ABC Family and TBS quite a lot, and it was always so hysterical seeing them edit around the risque moments of bully Biff.
Oh, that. I nearly walked out of the theater during that sequence with when Biff winds up with Marty's mom. I thought that was way.
Yeah, that's another thing, another dark element.
It's so wild. It's like people were enjoying themselves, even though most of the time it's very hostile. Mike running away from all
I mean,
these
Biff
thugs.
actually admits to killing Marty McFly's father.
Yeah, and
then
like,
he somehow ends up. he somehow ends up with Leah Thompson. Even though Leah Thompson expressed no interest in him whatsoever, and he tried to rape her in the first one.
Right. It's like
because of the money. He got her with the money.
Kind of like Indiana Jones. I don't know why all this other darker stuff becomes controversial, and yet with this, everyone's like, it's fine.
Yeah.
But now the first one I'll still rate a 4 out of 5. It's still quotable and very engaging and pretty carefully scripted movie for the most part. And then part 2. Yeah, I had fun with it growing up, but nowadays it's kind of eye candy. And part 3, again, growing up, it was definitely a 3.5 out of 5 for me. But now, for whatever reason, I can't watch it anymore. It just.
You didn't like him traveling to the Old West?
It was a lot of fun growing up. I love the ZZ Top cameos and everything. And for whatever reason, now it's just a very dull sit nowadays. I don't know if it's just a product of its time. I dug it. It was hysterical seeing them come back and they're trying to get off the train tracks and all that. But
A Million Ways to Die in the West made good use of that time travel element when they went to the West.
No, that was before. I see what you
mean. The Western setting in 3 is kind of, it's like this has been done a lot. Some critic compare it to like we're watching a Carol Burnett show Western segment. Or something.
My god.
Not to knock Carol Burnett's show, but
I love Carol, but I know what you mean.
It was a little too sitcom-y, maybe,
And it's so wild how Spielberg
too cliched.
I think another thing that people don't like about part 2 is like they remember all these Jaws sequels that are happening in the future, and you're like, Spielberg, buddy, are you in love with yourself?
By Max Spielberg,
right? And
which I guess would be his son,
probably. And it's so wild how they reference the hell out of Back to the Future on Tiny Toons.
Michael Jackson shows up. And
what number did they give it in 2015 for? I mean, for Jaws, like when you see it up on the screen.
I think it was Jaws 25 or something.
For 99, I can't remember.
I'm sorry, it didn't make it past 4.
Right.
Yeah.
No, thank you. Jaws 19. You're right. Okay.
Is it 19?
Yep.
Okay. Yep. And it's kind of interesting since we're 10 years past 2015. You know, all the things they wrote into it as the future.
Oh man.
Well, they almost got the Cubs winning the World Series right. I think they're off by a year. Remember that. Because I think they're in the playoffs the year in the movie, but then they won it the next year or something like that. Which is kind of cool.
And then we don't have hoverboards. All we have is those little things you can stand on, and they're like scooter things that kind of move slowly on
those
the ground.
things were cool. I'm not gonna lie.
2015,
and people were I remember seeing memes. Everyone was like, "We're still waiting on the hoverboards. What happened here, guys?"
Yeah.
I think Alan Silvestri's score is, I think, what I take away the most from Back to the Future. I know I'm going to be in for a chaotic but very fun time. It's just a very moody score. Yeah. But yeah, that was definitely where I first saw Leah Thompson, and I'd already been a Family Ties fan, but it was so funny. It's like, who would have thought that would have skyrocketed Michael J. Fox for a short amount of time?
Personally, I like Leah Thompson and Howard the Duck and Some Kind of Wonderful.
Some Kind of Wonderful.
Got to be a reason.
I think you'd love that. That's an underrated John Hughes movie. And
it had Eric Stoltz, who almost was in Back to the Future.
Right, so there you go. He kind of got his way. He still got to work with her.
One thing that gets by everybody, really, if you think about it in Back to the Future, why does Doc have to make these big dioramas all the time to show how it's going to work?
How about the fact that he can hide it?
He's got a small city all the time.
Well, do you remember the mousetrap setup he had in the first movie just to wake him up?
Oh yeah,
the animals.
And that's the thing. If he dies, Marty's screwed. There's no way he's getting back.
Yeah. How did those two become friends? I mean, a teenager and an old professor. That's the other thing
too. That it's like the movie starts so fast that if you were to even wonder that, like, it just ends before it happens. Like, yeah, they're just here because they're kind of the odd couple. But yeah, there's no reason for them to be listening to each other when Marty's the, guy skipping school, but who is still rational, and Doc's just crazy.
Is he? It doesn't even establish how closely they live to each other. Because I'm like, how else were they gonna?
I always kind of got that he was almost kind of a cousin or uncle kind of feel. Because like when he gets shot, he's like, no, as if he's known him for a while. I'm like, okay, shoot.
Well, I got to say though, in one when he's writing the letter to give to him in the diner, it's a very touching scene. I thought,
that's another thing where the Doc's going on this diatribe about how you can't know the future. I'm not supposed to know the future. And then later, in doodly doo, we're in the future, and he's like, oh, I taped it back together.
Yes. Oh my God. Yeah. And Michael J. Fox did get to spoof that on both when he was on SNL and on Spin City. But yeah, I just when he's finally figuring out all the mathematics and algorithm he needs to send him back, it is so wild how you have like 3 different fake outs, and you think, oh, he's going to get shocked and fall to his death. And it's like, nope, he's got it, but just barely. And I'm not going to lie. It's like, it was good visual storytelling, how they're showing it going back, and you got nothing but just like flaming tire marks just to show that it's gone back,
Yeah.
Yeah, like you were saying earlier, it is so wild how he needs all these different diagrams. And growing up, I was always like, especially in part 2, I'm like, how is he able to hide all this stuff without someone from the past, coming in and saying, what the hell is this? This Area 51 stuff. He always finds a place that's like abandoned, like underneath a factory or something where he can hide.
In 3, when he's in the Old West, it's like he's always going on about how you can't change the future. You can't do anything that would change the future. And he becomes a blacksmith in town.
Yeah. It's like, that's the compromise. It's like, so I didn't change it, but I still had to take up a different role, if you will. I still had to have a different day job.
But think about it, he could have changed it because he took a job away from somebody else.
That's true. Did he just knock out a guy in a bar and say, hey, here's my car to get into the railroad company. I'll just take your ID. Grow a beard. Yeah, and that's just it. Like, because it goes so fast, most people don't notice the plot holes, but they are there. But I don't want to be a trivial guy. I think they cover most of them, but there are some in there where you're like, wait a minute. So I think just the way they over-explain it and they play off each other, I think just the charisma is what made everyone overlook any potential plot holes.
I do remember watching Back to the Future with my family over and actually grabbing my Chuck Berry compilation. You know, they did get the year right. It was 1955 when he came up with Johnny Be Good, so that was kind of cool.
Johnny Be Good, okay.
And I think he even had the date. I think it was later in the year or something. So it made sense.
It all comes back the Chuck Berry cinematic universe.
Yeah.
Yeah, just a few more months and he would have written it himself, but now he's a plagiarist.
Do that shit myself. Yeah, I don't know why they did it that way. I think they were being cute, but yeah, that would be a mild knock against the first movie.
Well, again, you know.
Well, then again, I think they were just saying, "Hey, Chuck Berry's cool." You know, you can look at it too. You can look at it that way too.
We empowered him. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's been so many TV commercials that have referenced it. I'm not kidding. When I was at UTA, there used to be a guy who would drive around. He had his car to look like a DeLorean, and it looked like an R2-D2 head sticking out of it, and a Crow T robot co-piloting it, and he was dressed up as one of the Blues Brothers. I'm like, how many references are you going to sneak into one? That's awesome. Time on their hands. He had a bunch. Yeah, do you feel like it raised the glass and then no one could do anything better, so then the time travel genre kind of became formulaic after that? Or have they just ripped it off too many times and it's not really to blame, kind of like everyone was ripping off Alien?
It did start time travel movies. I remember the Philadelphia Experiment.
Oh my God.
You know, and so then I got to wonder, well, if they didn't arrive with the car, how did they get back? In Time Cop.
And why did you have to go 88 miles an hour every time?
Well, they didn't. Apparently, it got struck by lightning and ended up in the Old West.
Where we're going, we don't need roads.
So yeah, I mean, he wasn't traveling 88 miles. He just got struck by lightning and he ended up in the Old West.
Perfect.
Oh, that's kind of almost an homage to the Flash.
And another thing, they act like the car. I mean, okay, so Doc Brown buries the car when he's in the Old West in a mountaintop, or he buries it somewhere, and they have to go dig it out.
It's in a cave.
All right, it's in a cave, and so they take the car. They go back in the past, but doesn't mean that car is still in the past. So now you have two cars in the past.
Yeah, where does the other one go? Is it just like if there's two of you and one of you fades out because you canceled each other out? Yeah, it's.
Oh, if you kill your grandfather, you won't be born. It's a
it's like that. The photograph trope that they have in that movie.
Was the clock in the first movie a reference to Twilight Zone? Kind of. Am I just looking too much into it?
Well, can you draw a reference to it?
I don't know.
The dashboard clock, you mean?
Yeah, I always wondered if that was making fun of dense sci-fi stuff. I don't know. I don't know.
Well, Avengers Endgame plays with that a little bit too. It says
it totally did.
Not necessarily because you go in the past to change something. That past is now in the future. You know.
Yeah, the Russos are big.
Before, but then in the future you go. Yeah, that's tricky.
The Russos are big.
Einstein could probably solve it for us. You know.
Well, he can't now because he's dead.
Yeah, a little later party. But yeah, the Russos are big.
Maybe.
That's what he wants you to think.
There you go. He faked his death, just like DB Cooper.
He's the time traveler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, hanging out with Elvis and Bigfoot.
Yeah.
Just those guys? It's so funny you brought up
Joplin every so often.
But yeah, it's wild how the Russos totally reference it in those two movies because they're playing with time travel, but then they reference it a lot on Community. Ovid often has a poster of it in his room, and it is wild though how it's like when you see a cool looking car in a movie, it's like, yeah, someone's inspired by the DeLorean.
Yeah.
Have they ever thought to engineer it? Like, can they actually drive around in it for real without going back in time?
Well, I think they picked that car because of the drug. It was so big in the news with the drug controversy.
Was that at the time? I think that was after they probably made the movie.
Oh, really?
It might have been. I'm pretty sure.
I thought it was that was why it was.
Or it was before the movie
I thought
came
that's
out.
why
At
it was
any
funny
rate.
in the movie because the thing happened. Well, that's something to Google.
It might have been. It might have been something that happened during the making of the movie.
Did
Maybe.
any of you, given the comic book fandom that you guys have, did you guys actually think Tales from Space was a real comic?
No.
That's a random prop they read throughout the movie.
In fact, I'm pretty sure it was fake. Did you find out it was real?
They stopped making DeLoreans in 1982, so
I was just always like, that looks cool. I wonder if it's real.
So yeah, it would have been all in the news by then, by the time the movie came out. So that's why I guess they chose that car because they thought it'd be funny, you know.
Well, if they ever remade it today, I wondered if they'd use a different type of car, what it would be.
Oh, the one that I keep calling that a sanded down Turismo, but nobody remembers Turismos.
I played Gran Turismo. Did you? Oh, it's so funny. The comic book had an unintentional consequence. The dipshit president of Universal, Sid Sheinberg, actually thought it was a real comic, and he was like, "Yeah, we should rename Back to the Future Spaceman from Pluto." When he saw that the cover of the comic showed space.
Yeah, I read something about somebody trying to say that should have been the title of the movie.
Yeah, and Zemeckis and Gell, they're already kind of on thin ice. They're trying to, not get fired from the movie because they're over budget, over time.
In fact,
and Spielberg just intervened. He said, "Thank you, Sheinberg, for your humorous memo."
And I found that out because I was listening to Pitch Meeting.
Oh yes, the YouTube channel that makes fun of all the pitches. Yep. Oh man.
I just caught something today watching I Want to Hold Your Hand. Elderly woman says, "What's all this helter skelter about?" Which is a Beatle reference, obviously.
Oh yes.
But on top of that, Marty's grandfather is played by the same actor that played Vincent Bugliosi in the Helter Skelter TV movie.
Oh yeah.
Well, I
don't think that was intended that way, but you never know.
Didn't he play his own great grandfather?
Oh,
in the Western one?
He might have. Same actor? Yeah.
Well, he played himself. He played his own grandfather, or great grandfather.
Okay. I can't think of the actor's name.
Along with Leah Thompson again as his great grandmother.
Yeah.
Which, takes some thinking.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit of thinking.
No, he played a really good Bugliosi.
No, I felt they just felt they had to throw Leah Thompson in, so we'll just throw her in here. Although most, not thinking that people would think, "Oh, wait a minute, we got some questions about this."
Yeah.
Wouldn't everybody want to go back in time and find their mom was horny as hell and their dad was a peeping Tom?
I wouldn't talk to him for a week. I'd just be like, nope.
I've seen people talk about trying to make Back to the Future 4, but I think that's just wishful thinking.
Yeah. Well, Michael Fox is,
Well, they talk about I've seen stuff where people are talking about what's his name who played Spider-Man, Tom Holland.
Yeah,
I was going to say Garfield, but that's
and Robert Downey Jr. as the Doc.
So remake or a
they remade Back to the Future?
No, I don't think it's going to happen. But you can see some fan stuff or something on YouTube.
Yeah. That's the other thing that always melts the internet. I have seen people do very, very, very tasteless April Fool's gags where they're like, they say either Die Hard or Back to the Future is being remade. And you're like, and no one laughs. They're like, no, just no. And it is so funny. It's inevitable. Somebody will at some point. All it takes is losing the rights to it, or it's been 100 years and someone says, let's give it our best shot. But you're like, but why?
If maybe nobody wants to do it yet because Michael J. Fox is still around and Christopher Lloyd is still around.
Yeah. Well, Back to the Future, when I see it being pitched for whatever movie's coming out, it's generally just because it's going to be a crowd pleaser, but it's also going to be a very unusual but somewhat original time travel concept. And it is just so wild when, again, I'm not generally a fan of time travel, but I can actually name 20 good movies and shows that use it very well. And so I think it's just one of those, I hate it when it's done wrong because I've seen it wrong so many times, but it can be done well. It's just, yet you see so many hackneyed strips that even if the movie's good, you're just like, yeah, this is making my head hurt, and I'm not even trying. What's happening? It's you never know, but yeah, would you rank that as one of the top trilogies, or do you really think you just got to stick with the first one?
Back to the Future.
Yeah.
I could watch all three over and over a few times.
Okay. All right.
Give me every 5 years, and I could watch them again probably.
Okay.
I had the box set at one point. I may not have it anymore, but
I haven't checked out any of the comic books, but I know Bob Gill worked on a bunch of them.
I see. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I'm looking.
Marvel then, was it?
I've joked with Tom before on the Hanna-Barbera cartoon show that of Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Do you know what company did those Back to the Future comics?
I think it was IDW. Let's look.
It would make sense if it was IDW.
Yeah, because they really got into the movie and TV,
Yes, they did. Okay.
Licensing.
Yeah. Sweet. So that began in 2015. Harvey Comics was one of the other co-publishers. And
Harvey Comics was around?
Apparently, yeah. And they did some tie-in material for the video game that came out, which I didn't see, but I did hear an interview with the guy who voiced Marty McFly in that. He later voiced Gizmo in the Gremlins cartoon show, and hearing him talk on a few different podcasts, he's like, no pressure, yo. I had to, imitate people I love. I got to imitate Howie Mandel, and then I got to imitate Michael J. Fox, and still got to make it my own. That's not, you got to do so much practice. It's more than just giving a speech and practicing in front of the mirror. You got to just try so many different kinds of material. But yeah, so there was a Back to the Future comics in 91, and part 2 free, and even 4 in 92.
So they were comic adaptations of the movies.
Kinda, and then they went beyond that with IDW, where they
the Further Adventures of Doc and Marty, maybe that was the true inspiration for Rick and Morty.
That it probably was. It's a more sarcastic version, but basically when IDW they apparently did part 4 and 5 in 2016, and then, I kid you not, part 6 through 11 in 2016. I had no idea until just this. Yeah, I'd seen some of those advertised. I'm like, that looks cool, but they even did alternate timelines, which I'm actually okay with because they're doing it in a comic book. It'd be a nightmare if you did it in a movie, but in a comic, you're just like, okay, that's fine. You either buy into it or you don't, but it's just fun, casual reading.
Well, Marvel Comics kind of intuited the whole, like when you travel through time, you're creating a different universe.
Yes.
Right.
And
so an alternate universe, yeah.
Kind of like when you, I don't know, save a video game and there's still like some other stuff saved in your cloud that is like, I'm not going to play that version of the game that I saved there. And yeah, it's almost like clearing the cache on your Internet Explorer. It's kind of funny. It's like all this stuff that you do only creates all this other scientific off trail that otherwise wouldn't exist.
I'd be fascinated if time travel was possible, but only to the extent of you could go back in time and not be like a ghost and just observe what really happened.
Be a fly on the wall.
Like say Dealey Plaza. Dealey Plaza. What you could go back in time and actually observe and catch everything that, it's all word of mouth now, and that's how you get conspiracy theories.
Marty, we gotta go back in time and see JFK.
No, you can't change anything. Just see what really happened.
I gotta see who killed
even
JFK.
Like Lincoln or
Didn't they do a time travel show called Explorers that did that?
They did time.
Yeah, Voyagers.
Voyagers.
That's
but they didn't actually interact with anybody. They just watched.
Really? They actually did stuff. Because they had to fix
they broke the rules, yeah. So it was kind of like the basis of Time Cop, but go even further. And Timeless would do that, but they were going to crazy weird ones. And
Yeah,
that one
lasted a couple of years.
That was on for about 3 years. I watched some of it. It was fine.
It kind of ran out of steam. Yeah,
it was uneven for me, but I kept geeking out each time I saw the evil guy who created it was none other than Max Headroom. I'm like, well, there's a you can't spell geek without Max Headroom. But
Matt Frewer.
Yes,
yeah,
he was the guy.
I remember him being in that. I'll have to watch it again.
He was kind of not too different from the one bad guy he plays on that one Star Trek episode. So what do you think of the music of Back to the Future? I mean, we got freaking Huey Lewis, Eric Clapton, ZZ Top, and of course playing the Chuck Berry song. But then Alan Silvestri's overture is pretty iconic. It's like, man.
It did its job of ramping up the moments when they needed to be.
It's kind of the best type of soundtrack I've seen used for a movie. Like, there's a reason it's being done. Now, if you do it, they just want to license, whatever's in the top 40. That's not very good,
Clapton's in Back to the Future.
Yeah.
One of the songs. Which one?
The song is "Heaven Is One Step Away."
Which the first movie or?
Mm-hmm. Yep. I think it's just on the soundtrack, though. I don't recall that being.
Oh, it may not be in the film itself. Okay.
But
like something running during the credits kind of thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, I know about Huey's song, but
there were some other songs.
You guys are just too darn loud. Yeah.
Too wrong, but Back in Time, I was playing in the end credits. Like, whoa.
Yeah, that came out my junior year in high school.
Yeah. Power of Love doesn't really have much to do with the movie, but it gets you in the mood. Like, I think that's why I was engaged with it. I'm like, whoa, he's skateboarding.
No, that's actually the song that Marty and his band was playing when Huey Lewis told them they were being too loud.
Yeah. Okay. On its metal version, yeah.
Okay, shit. Okay, you're right. I'm tripping.
So he's saying my song is too darn loud.
Pretty much. Yeah.
I do miss the actress that played his girlfriend in the first. I thought she was good. I love I like Elizabeth Shue, but I think she's wrong for that movie.
Well, they didn't have her.
Well, like you said,
much.
they kind of
threw her in and threw her out.
Yeah,
let's have her crash on the outdoor couch for she'll be fine.
Thomas F. Wilson, I thought was fine as Biff, but man, I wanted to punch him in the face so bad. He was so.
Well, that's how good he was. Yeah,
that's how good he was. Yeah,
he plays the coach in Freaks and Geeks too.
Mm-hmm.
He does a really good job in that movie.
He kind of did that for a while. I would see him pop up as a teacher, and my parents would tease me. I'm like, you know who that is? I'm like, is it Biff? Yes. He has had a wild career, and you want to talk. He pretty much just has the freedom to do whatever, and that's the movie that made him. It's like, okay, but you will always be Biff.
Back to the Future, they had at least 2 dogs.
Yeah.
Then he had like one in the 85 that was called Einstein, and then he had one in 55 that was Copernicus or something like that.
Okay.
Something, yeah.
Yeah, because Einstein wasn't around. Oh, no, Einstein was around 55. Okay.
Yeah.
Did they have a dog in the Western?
Well, I think that's why we like Doc, is he basically is an Einstein.
Yeah.
I'm thinking they probably did, but I can't remember.
ZZ Top shows up. I know that.
Yeah, that was always the highlight for me, because they play over the end credits.
I thought those guys looked out of place in the Western.
Well, they're actually abandoned in the Western in the stage.
Yeah,
too.
I know. I'm like, they kind of look like they don't fit.
Right.
Yeah, for me, it wasn't like with Young Guns where I see Bon Jovi and some other guitarists in there. They look like cowboys, but that one I was like, I see what they did there. I think it's just because they didn't. It was almost like the B-52s appearing in the Flintstones. You're like, yeah, you're not fooling anybody. Sorry.
Yeah.
And I guess because it was funny, I just didn't care. But it was just like, still, I'm sure if I watched it even more on rewatches, I'd be like, okay, enough tooting your horn. Let's get off with the plot.
We'll return after these messages.
If you like small-town mystery, crazy news, and wild history, then the Florida Men on Florida Man podcast is for you. Each week, Josh Mills and Wayne McCarty bring you the absolute best Florida has to offer. So if you're looking for a show that's safe for the family, but funny enough to help you escape everyday life, then listen to the Florida Men on Florida Man Podcast. That's Florida Men, plural, on Florida Man Podcast.
Do you ever find yourself thinking about who would win in a fight between Goku and Superman? Hi, I'm James Gavsey, and on the Who Would Win show, me and my co-host Ray ignore anything important happening in the outside world and debate fictional battles between characters from comics, movies, and video games.
We got a new show every week, and almost always am I the winner.
Yeah, not true, Ray.
In the past, we've discussed such matches as Captain America versus Darth Vader, Solid Snake versus the Iron Giant, classic matchups like RoboCop versus Terminator, and even the Muppets versus Sesame Street.
That one was crazy. So if you're a fan of geek culture and love a spirited debate, check out the Who Would Win show wherever you get your podcasts, or check us out at whowouldwinshow.com.
Follow us on the web on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. The podcast is available on Podbean, Spotify, iHeartRadio, Anchor, Apple, and anywhere else podcasts are available. Feel free to review our show and leave comments on any of those sites. Thanks a million for listening.
It's a jacked up review show. It's a jacked up review show. Jacked up review show. It's a jacked